let's make this quick. My 5 things I want to watch for this upcoming NBA season that starts, I believe, next week. I'm so excited. Number 1, Carmelo Anthony, consistency. Now, what I mean by that is, as you can see from statistics I pulled up on the lovely game of NBA 2K19, still glitch as fuck though, NBA 2K, so go fuck yourself. But he had not career lows in every aspect. He shot 7% worse from free throw. Field goal shooting was 3% worse overall. It's consistency for me. And what I mean by that is I don't want to see as many nights of him shooting 3 for 12, something like that. It's painful to me to watch someone who was as good as he was in Denver be as inconsistent with his shooting as he is now. Now, 40% isn't terrible. It's not the greatest, but it's not terrible. But if you can be more consistent, be that third option in your offense that you need to be, or fourth option, I'm not sure if he would technically be behind Clint Capella or not, it makes you funner to watch. And I'm really a simple guy. Consistency is all that's really important to me. Now, if I had to place a third option, why did it do that? A second thing. Who is going to be the second thing I watch this year? That's going to be the Utah Jazz, because I think the Utah Jazz are an interesting team. But what on the Utah Jazz catches my eye this year? It's Rudy Gobert. Now, defensively, watching Rudy Gobert when someone comes barreling into the paint is freaking fun. Watching him on defense is like watching Aaron Rodgers play quarterback. It's fun, it's entertaining, it's good basketball. Watching him on offense, not so much. He seems kind of one-trick pony-ish. So I want to see him improve. I'm going to be watching to see if his offensive impact improves. I'm going to be watching to see if he becomes more than just an inside presence. I think if he can improve his offensive game, even a little bit, even if he doesn't expand his range, I want to see if he becomes a better offensive player. Because if he can become an offensive player while keeping the same stuff he has on defense, he is going to elevate himself into talks of maybe top 10 player in the league. He's a fun player to watch. But like I said, when he's on offense, it's Mitchell's game, it's Rubio's game, it's Ingles' game. He is like a fifth wheel on a car. So if he can get more, if he can improve himself, take advantage of opportunities, it could actually open up doors for Mitchell and Rubio to improve as well. So it's kind of a chain reaction thing in that kind of situation. Thirdly, it's going to be Lonzo Ball and his free throw shooting. I'll pull up stats real quick like I did for the first guy. 45% is inexcusable no matter what position you play. You could be Shaq, you could be DeAndre, you could be Dwight, goddamn Howard for Christ's sakes. But 45% is as inexcusable as wearing a short sock and a long sock. Like, who does that? Come on. Number 2 overall pick. I've heard reports that he's improved his shot. I haven't seen it really in an actual game because I don't watch preseason. I especially not a West Coast team. Since I live on the East Coast, I don't really get access to West Coast preseason games. But if I'm gonna be watching to see if he can improve his free throw shooting percentage and how much so, because it actually could have an impact on the Lakers this year. If you take last year's Lonzo Ball shooting 45% on the Lakers, and then compared to this Lakers team with Lonzo Ball that maybe can make 65-something% of his free throws, maybe 70 if you're lucky, I would hands down take the Lonzo with a 65-70% thing, because I think it can make the Lakers a lot more dangerous. And the reason why I mention that is because watching the Lakers play, obviously LeBron James is not going to play 48 minutes a game for the Lakers. So, if Lonzo Ball's in there, LeBron's not in there, and Lonzo has the ball and he drives to the basket, he gets fouled hard on a play, I don't think he can make him pay right now at the free throw line. And when I see someone get fouled hard at the free throw line, or fouled hard driving to the basket, I want to see them make the defense pay. Heck, even if it's against my own team, I want to have a reason to be like, that was a stupid foul. What were you thinking? I don't want to be like, oh, you fouled them. And they missed. Both. It's just not good basketball for me. Granted, we all have different ideas of good basketball. Next. If you think about it, we mentioned the Lakers. We mentioned the Jazz with Rudy Gobert. We mentioned Carmelo Anthony. Next, we have the Detroit Pistons. Now, why am I watching the Detroit Pistons when they're god-awful? And what do I mean by that? Look at these rosters in 2K right now. The Raptors, 3 people above 80. Rockets, 4 people. Spurs, 3 people. Even the Suns have a third person who's super close to 80. So do the Pistons, but still, look at this roster. What does it state to you? Think about it. Okay, you thought about it? Let me tell you what it says to me. This is the goddamn Clippers team of like 4 or 5 years ago, but not as good. It's like the poor man's Clippers team. You got Drummond Griffin, which is not too much different than DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin. Granted, Griffin is a better basketball player, and he has grown from his experiences. But this offense doesn't look to be that much difference in that team. And that team had Chris Paul. Can this team elevate itself? Can this team bring itself to the next level? Can it be something new? Can Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond be something different than Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan? Hopefully. Because all of us know DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin just didn't work out. Especially after Chris Paul left. That was horrendous. With Blake Griffin improving his offensive game a little bit, and Drummond being who he is, hopefully it's different. And I'm not saying it's not entertaining basketball. I'm not saying they can't compete. They can. Drummond and Griffin, if Drummond can control the boards, obviously they can compete. But it's not fun basketball for me to watch, and it starts to hurt to watch when you look at a situation that didn't succeed, and then you look at something that's so similar, and it looks like someone's trying to like duplicate it, but it didn't work before. I watched this in LA with the Clippers. I wanted it to work so bad. It never did. I don't want that to happen in Detroit. I kind of, it's one of those teams that are so bad. I mean, they're not awful, but it's one of those teams that, compared to the other teams, they aren't the greatest. They're one of those teams that you don't seriously probably peg them for playoff contenders. So yes, it does suck a little bit, but be new. If you're gonna suck and be bad, be something different. Find your own way. Find your own identity. Don't just be a 2.0 of a different team. I don't like that. And lastly, since it's my favorite team and I just went on a rant, I want to cool myself off by talking about the 5th thing I'm going to be watching in this NBA season. I'm going to be talking nice and low, so I hope you can still hear me. I do apologize if you can't. I don't know how to label this 5th one. I kind of want to say the brilliance of Brad Stevens as a label, just because if you look at this roster, possible rotation here, move down 1 spot, boom, possible rotation there, move down 1 spot, boom, possible rotation there, move down 1 spot, boom, possible rotation right there, move down 1 spot, boom, possible rotation right there, move down 1 spot, boom, possible rotation right there. And I'm not even kidding. You could take almost any 5 guys on this roster and make a relatively good caliber rotation. Now, what that does to me, and the reason why I'm going to watch it, I should say, is watching basketball for the last few years, I've noticed some teams, when it's time to take out the starters and rest, and they put on the bench, the starters need to get like a 15, 10-point lead, 20-point lead, because the bench will give it up, and the bench can't score. But with this, the rotation's interesting, and this is me kind of like fanning out right now. With me, it's interesting because with the capabilities on the bench that you have, do you just go straight up 5 bench players when you put your starters out and start integrating your starters back in? Because this is a capable lineup of keeping up with someone else's bench. It is. Or do you, let's say, take out a couple of a couple of starters, and say Kyrie and Hayward, and throw in Rozier and Smart and do the rotation that way? Especially when you think of how you can do the rotation. Like, say your starting 5 is right there: Irving, Brown, Hayward, Tatum, and Horford. Say you take Hayward out, move Baines into center, move Horford into power forward, maybe move Tatum into the guard position, maybe bring in Marcus Morris to play forward as well, stuff like that. You can change positions around. Like, you have so many players that can play multiple positions on the court. Well, Kyrie Irving, most likely point guard. But Brown, he can play shooting guard. I believe he can play small forward. I'm not saying he should. I mean, he's one of the smaller players on the team, being at 6'7". That's incredible saying that. But Hayward or Tatum can switch between small forward, power forward. Horford can play center or power forward. Stuff like that. They have rotational players that can kind of mesh. And it's going to be fun basketball to watch. Especially with Brad Stevens at coach. It's going to be interesting to see how he utilizes it. If I had to compare it to a different sport and a different team, I would say it's kind of like the Chiefs offense, especially this year. With how do you deploy that offense? You have Tariq Hill who can run the ball really well. He can catch it really well. You have Travis Kelce, so do you do a big power tight end kind of game? You have Hunt, so do you make it a game plan focused on back play or stuff like that? You have Mahomes. Is he going to be more mobile today? Is he going to play in the pocket more today? You have Sammy Watkins, so you're like, are they going 3 wide a lot today? So what are they going to do? To me, that's going to be this team. And it's going to change how other coaches game plan to it, and it's going to be fun to watch. Do I think they're going to win the championship? I think they have a chance. I don't think they should be favored. But I think the depth and rotation is definitely going to be probably what gives them the biggest chance. Anyway, guys, enough rambling about my favorite team. I do apologize. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you are new. I don't think any of you made it this far. I doubt really many people clicked on this video. If you are watching this and this video does have over 100 views, then most likely you are watching this in the year 2023, and most of those views are probably my own. I joke though. Anyways, guys, I'll see you when the season starts in approximately 8 days. Until then, peace.